the interesting thing about the case, for particularly here, is that I had never been a criminal prosecutor or a criminal defense lawyer. I sometimes think of my experience was in the criminal defense work in Wisconsin was representing somebody who was a good duck hunter, a good fisherman who went out and started to shoot or fish before the time he was supposed to do it, and some game warden and bring us up before a local justice of the peace, and generally the justice of the peace would also be a hunter or a fisherman, and I would appear before the justice of the peace, and I didn't have any defense, but I just told him it was a nice day and it was wonderful, but at the end of the hearing, the ruling was by the justice of the peace is, on your plea of guilty, I find you not guilty. So as I say, I was a novice at this big conspiracies, and so I said to one of my paralegals to go up to the library and get me some of the cases where prosecutors in the Southern District of New York have tried big conspiracy cases. And she went up and she brought back 6 or 7 cases. One of them was the Alger Hiss case. One of them was a case involving the mafia, as I remember it. But I read the closing arguments, but they didn't fit at all. And then good fortune hit me. She went back up and she bought back a 2-volume book called The Law as Literature, or something like that. And she gave me the book, and it had pieces by various people. And good luck again was Justice Jackson's final argument in the Nuremberg case. And also, there was Daniel Webster's opening statement in a case involving a murder in Massachusetts. And I read them. And it was just hit me. I had an opening statement, a frame for one, and I had a closing the ending summation. Daniel Webster here, Mr. Justice Jackson there, and we then put that together and worked very hard at very carefully developing all the circumstantial evidence and the direct evidence and the corroboration, so that we had a good story from start to finish. And thank the Lord, the jury returned a verdict of conviction of 7 of the 9 key players, and they hung on the last 2, and then they let 5 or 6 of the defendants who were on the periphery. They didn't convict them.
Just happen to have portions of your closing statement. I wonder if you would read those last 2 paragraphs, because at least for those who have been Jackson fans, you'll see the connection.
Let me get my glasses out if I can find them. I think I said, members of the jury, this is an important case. It's important to the government. It's important to the defendants, but most important, it's important to the state of Mississippi. What I say here, what the other lawyers say here today, what the court says about the law will be soon forgotten. But what you 12 people do here today will long be remembered. Then I went on to say, the defendants will stand before you on this record in the case, and they will beg of you of indulgence. In effect, they will say, as Gloucester said as he stood over the body of his slain king, say I slew him not. The king replied, "Then say they were not slain, but they are dead. If you find that these men are not guilty of this conspiracy, it would be as true to say that there was no nighttime release from jail by Cecil Price. There were no white knights. There were no young men dead. There was no murder. If you find that these men are not guilty, you will declare the law of Neshoba County to be the law of the state of Mississippi."